We're getting everything set up. If you're hopping on, let me know. Come say hi. We are live streaming on YouTube and on Instagram. There's a bit of a lag. Welcome to my kitchen, everyone. We're just getting set up. We'll be starting in probably just about a minute. Just getting everything organized. Today we're talking about Phil. Hi. I'd say it's good to see you. I don't see you, but it's still feeling your presence is nice. Okay. I think we're good here. I'm just going to take that away. Perfect. Awesome, awesome. So guys, today, like I mentioned, I've been mentioning in the last couple of days, and I'm working with two cameras, so bear with me here. I wanted to, I get lots of questions about how I cook and what I cook and how the heck do I manage to do and cook what I do, being a busy mom and a business owner. I do have two businesses. And so, you know, putting that, like the importance of eating well and eating and cooking from scratch is really it's been important to me for a really long time. And just kind of like making all that work and a priority for our health, for my family's health, for our like budget, right? Because when you cook from scratch, you're saving a lot of money, but also, you know, bringing that a few steps further and taking the time to slow down, which is something that I find that in America in general, having lived in Canada and the US, it's often, you know, it's kind of normal to go, and to cram so much in your life, in your days. And, you know, depending on, especially when you have a business, I do think that there's a lot of times where there's going to be seasons where you're busy, like not seasons of the year, but like seasons in the business, seasons in, you know, whatever business you're in, or even in the work that you do, there's going to be busy times, there's going to be like slower times, right? So sometimes you're hustling a little bit more and sometimes you're relaxing, and that's totally normal. But really, it's really about learning how to slow down. And one of the things that really inspires me is the centenarians. I've been really looking into, you know, what their secret is. And we definitely know that there's regions, there's populations in the world where there's a much higher number of centenarians. And my curiosity about that really brought me to discover that it has a lot to do with their food. It has a lot to do with their lifestyle. And interestingly enough, I was just looking at a video on YouTube the other day about some centenarians in Sardinia, and a lot of them smoke and they drink, and it's not because, you know, it's so interesting. We all know those people who may have those bad habits that we know are not good for us, yet they live until they're 100 years old or more. And so there's a lot more to it than, you know, not smoking or not drinking, for example. Those are just two things. So I think stress is a huge one. So decreasing your stress, I think, is all, you know, tied into learning how to have a little bit more of a slower life. And this is my mission, to teach people on, you know, reconsidering how you proceed with your day-to-day lives and maybe with your children. I find that children are being like again, overloaded with activities. They do not have time to be children anymore. So there's a lot to talk about. We're not going to talk about all of that today, but we are going to cover a few basic lines. And I wanted to show you one of my favorite simple recipes that I have incorporating essential oils, which is something that I also do. But also I want to talk a little bit about one of my favorite soups and a new favorite dish of mine that I've tweaked and is super easy. My motto for everything in life is keep it simple, work with simple ingredients. I like to just simplify everything in my life, whether it's business, whether it's, cooking, whether it's, anything. I just like to keep it simple because that in turn reduces our stress. And we know that stress is such a big factor in our health and our longevity. And so let's start, shall we? So you've probably seen me mention many times the word slow food or, just the term slow food. Maybe you're not familiar with it. Slow food is a pretty cool organization, I'd say, that I discovered a long time ago when I was once upon a time, I lived in the country. Now I live in the city. And once upon a time, I had my own little 3 acres, and I had what I call it? Like, it's not like maybe a hobby farm, I had my chickens and I had huge gardens. And that was probably a good 15 years ago where I started to really dive deeper into this notion of slow food. And slow food was kind of a movement that grew and started in Italy with the backlash that happened when the first McDonald's opened in Italy. The Italians did not like that. And I mean, I'm sure some of them did like that, but many were kind of like, what are you doing? Like, this is just like horrible. This is not food. Like, everything around it is horrible. And therefore, the slow food movement started. Now, today, if I actually go on the Slow Food website, because I'm not really good at remembering, definitions, word for word, but if I read the Slow Food definition, if you want, it's a global now grassroots organization. It was founded in 1989 to prevent the disappearance of local food cultures and traditions, counteract the rise of fast life, and combat people's dwindling interest in the food they eat. So it's all about knowing where your food comes from as much as possible, taking the time to create something beautiful in the kitchen for you to eat, and also taking the time to enjoy it with your loved ones and to share it with people. And so this is kind of like the grander definition of slow food. And it really has now spread to many, many different countries as just a movement and a concept. It shouldn't be that way, right? Like, if we were 100 years ago, fast food was like grabbing a piece of bread and grabbing a piece of cured or dried meat and grabbing a piece of cheese and an apple, and you're good to go, right? And that's kind of like our version of fast food today. So it's again, knowing where your food comes from, eating real food. So making sure that it's made with real ingredients, made with things that you're able to pronounce, right? So the basics, the fruits, the vegetables, the meats, if you are not vegetarian, the natural flours, and really bringing that all together and creating some really delicious things that are super easy, and avoiding all the extra stuff, all the bad fats, all the like artificial everything, right? And the preservatives. So it doesn't have to be hard. And the question I may get the most is, but I don't know how to cook. I don't know where to start. And so this really, all these requests that I've been having has really kind of brought me to today and the next kind of lives or videos that I want to do, because this is something that comes really naturally to me. And I figure it's easy for me to share with you guys. So I want to talk about how one of the questions I've got is like, you should do, or like one of the requests was like, you should do a day in the life of, and that can include a lot of different things. So we're going to maybe do like a day in the life of Dr. Isabel when I have my day of the week where I cook things. So some people may call that meal prepping. I don't really think it's the same as meal prepping in the sense that like, I don't put everything in like little containers. Hey guys, I can't see my people on, let me see if I see my people on YouTube. No, I can't. That's okay. I don't put everything like super organized in little containers. I know a lot of people who do different like meal kind of plans or meal prepping. That's kind of what they think of when they think of meal prepping. My version of it is, being organized and so that I have food that is healthy for the week, that is prepared or semi-prepared. So some of it is going to be super easy to reheat. Some of it is going to be great and easy to bring in your lunch. And so I'm not cooking necessarily a huge, long time every day. So some of the basics is I pick a day, and that's not always the same day. Today, like you're with me today because this is my day. So today for this week is Wednesday. I've got some company coming over for lunch tomorrow, and I've got like a lot of stuff going on at the office. And so this weekend, I chose to take some time to rest. And so I didn't do a lot of cooking or prepping. I also had a lot of leftover food. So one of my pet peeves is waste. And so I really try to maximize everything that I have in the fridge. We really, really, don't like to throw out food here. I don't like to throw out food here. And like if somebody does, my partner sometimes doesn't know to like, there's like a little something left. I have a plan for that little something. Okay. So learning how to be creative and work without a recipe. That's like a big thing. And we're going to work through that together. Not all today, but if you catch me another time, this is my goal, is to show you how to work without a recipe, or like loosely with like an idea, and be confident to make something that's going to be delicious. Okay. So I pick a day. And on that day, I'll often do for the week, I'll make a batch of soup. I'll make a chicken. Usually I'll like roast a chicken or a bunch of chicken leg thighs. And it's a big batch. And I've got some for the rest of the week. And I can do a lot of different things with that. Often what I'll do is if I, make a lentil soup for the week, which is what I want to briefly cover today with you guys. But we're going to do a video just on like exactly how to make the lentil soup. But I'll give you enough information that you can go and try it at home right today if you want. If not, you can wait till my video on my lentil soup. So today I'm making a lentil soup, but as I roast my chicken, and I do have an old video on how I roast my chicken, so you can go check that out on my YouTube. If you're on YouTube, it's an old video, but you can find it. It's not the same kitchen, it's in our old place, but you'll get the gist of it, how I make a chicken. It's so easy, guys. Making a chicken, roasting a chicken is not hard. You don't have to be afraid. Okay. So roast chicken. When I'm done with that chicken, I actually keep the drippings so that I can use that in recipes the week after. Okay. So there's no waste. And then the chicken, I'll use it for sandwiches. I'll use it for some of it, whatever's left over, like near the end of the week. Those little bits are going to make a chicken noodle soup the next week, okay? Or like a chicken vegetable soup. So no waste there. I'll make pasta with chicken. I'll make, sometimes we'll do like spring rolls. My daughter really loves to make homemade spring rolls, the fresh rolls. We'll do a lot of different things with that chicken. So there's so much you can do. Sometimes it's great just to have a few pieces of chicken with vegetables or in a salad. So like, that one chicken goes a long way, and you can often find them on sale. Often what I'll do is I'll grab an extra one if they're on sale, or if the chicken thighs and legs together are on sale, I just grab an extra pack, put it in the freezer, and then we're good to go. One of the things that I really kind of love doing is trying to stay within our budget, which we always set a budget ahead of time. And for us, we take that out in cash. And so that is our money. That's our grocery money for the month. And so we're a family of 3, and we don't spend more than $600 a month in groceries. So that's about $125 a week. And so we often are much below that. And then we it just, you know, the cash stays in the wallet and we use that. And that way we never go over. So I love going to different places to get my groceries. I love a good deal. I like to look at where there's some, you know, specials. But because we stick to the basics, right? Like I just went to the grocery store this morning. I got some carrots. I needed some more carrots, onions. This is like staples, guys. Carrots, onions, celery. It's in my fridge. I got some leeks. These are going to be really good. And it adds so much flavor. Garlic we have from the garden from earlier this year. I got a sweet potato because this is going to go in my soup. And yeah, I only got one because I didn't really plan on using sweet potatoes and anything else this week. So I only got one. I got some tomatoes because this is like a big, you know, part of a lot of what we cook. And it just adds nice color. And guys, everywhere there's centenarians, they eat a lot of tomatoes. Okay. And make sure, if you can, as much as possible, get your local tomatoes. So these are greenhouse tomatoes. They're grown in Canada. I don't know where exactly. I think they're Ontario, which is, you know, we're in Ontario. So it's like, you know, it's not that far. It's winter. So we do our best, right? And then we've got a couple of other things. We got some oranges. Those are not going to be local. It's just, you know, the reality, but we need some vitamin C and it's winter. So we definitely need to get as much natural vitamin C that we can absorb, right? And cucumber, which is also from Canada. So those are just some of the basics that I got today. Cost me $18. I'm going to do so much with this, guys. I have some basics that are in my pantry, like my lentils. So I'll use my green lentils. Let me see if I can pull them up for you. Me not being super prepared here. Okay, here we go. We've got some green lentils. This is what the green lentils look like if you've never cooked with them. They're really simple. They're really cheap. They have a lot of protein and they have a lot of fiber. So they're really good for you. A little goes a long way. And this is something that I use a lot in mostly, like I like making that basic, but really delicious lentil soup. But once in a while, I love making this vegan or vegetarian lentil shepherd's pie. Guys, it's so good. That may be something that we do one day together because I'm not a vegetarian. I used to be a vegetarian a long time ago. But once in a while, I do like to reduce, and we don't use that much meat. And if we do use meat, it's usually chicken. We'll do fish. We do red meat very rarely, but once in a while we'll have like a nice steak or something or some roast. So, in my day that I choose to cook, like I don't have anything else planned. Maybe I'll go to the gym and then it's like, okay, I'm making stuff. I'm making soup. I like to make bread. That's a newer thing for me. And I've been really, really lucky to have one of my aunties give me my grandmother's recipe. And now it's working for me. Bread never worked for me. And now it's like, it's working, which is great. So maybe we'll do bread together one day. And I've also been loving to make some focaccia. So some really nice, light, easy homemade focaccia. Again, my cousin gave me that recipe and it's amazeballs. So that'll be for a different day. But on that day, you know, let's pretend, because I'm going to be making that later today. Focaccia, I'll make a soup, I'll make a roast. Oftentimes I'll throw in a batch of muffins. And that's going to be for lunches, for quick breakfast. It's quick, right? It's not fast food, but it's like, it's slow food, but a little faster. You know what I mean? So I'll make some muffins, and sometimes I'll also make, to have a nice healthy dessert, some chia pudding, which is like the fastest ever. And it's so yummy and delicious and has a lot of fiber again and protein. So it's a good quick thing that you can do. So all those recipes we'll cover eventually in this kind of new series moving forward together. Okay, let me look at my notes. Right, so you pick your day. My day is usually on Sundays. Usually is on Sundays. Today's Wednesday, and that's okay, right? And I'm going to be good for the week. Maybe Sunday I'll kind of like top it up with different things. But right now we still have a lot of food left over because of how like everything kind of just lined up in the last week or so, that I'm due for a soup and I'm due for some bread. So that's going to come later, and I'll shoot that video later. So for your soup, any basic, any base for your soup, anything really, like what you should always have in your fridge is your garlic, your onions, your carrots, and your celery. Those are like basics, all right? All the time. They're cheap. Always have them in your fridge. With that, you can whip up so many different things, guys. There's 4 things: carrots, celery, onions, garlic. That is your base, okay? When you're making the lentil soup, which I'll post the recipe and actually show you how to make the recipe later, I chop up maybe 1 big carrot, just tiny little pieces, chop up maybe 2 stalks of celery. I do not measure anything. So this is the art of cooking, right? And to like be confident and to create something and to use your intuition, to use your gut when you're cooking. So maybe 2 stalks of celery, chop it up, right? 1 onion, chop it up. What I do is I'll put a little bit of olive oil in a pan, like a saucepan, and I'll chop up an onion, saute it in some olive oil. And again, you drizzle some olive oil, just enough so that it doesn't stick. And when your onions get a little, soft, add a little bit of salt to that, because that really helps them sweat and get more of the flavors out. And then you're going to start adding your carrots. You're going to add your celery. You're going to add your garlic. If you are using garlic in your recipe, please, please, please use fresh garlic, and please find garlic that is not from China. Okay. China does not have a very good reputation with with a lot of what they grow, I think, but try to find it organic and local if possible. But Spain has some good garlic often in the grocery stores. So try to avoid Chinese garlic, and definitely avoid garlic in a jar. That is like, no. It's like unacceptable for me. You want to get the fresh stuff. Okay. You want to get the fresh stuff. And then, so you've got your onions sauteing, you've got your carrot sauteing for your soup, you've got your celery. Once they are, cooking, it's maybe like 5 minutes. Okay. You don't want to let them go too long. You're going to also chop up your sweet potato and, into tiny little pieces, like 1 centimeter pieces. You're going to throw that in there, keep on sauteing, and you're going to start adding some water. Okay. Add some water to the point where the vegetables are just covered. Let that boil. Once it's boiling, you're going to add some more water. Now, I always add a bay leaf. So if you're not familiar with bay leaves, they are just like dried leaves that have a lot of flavor, and they pack a lot of great things. So bay leaves are really good for your immune system. They're really good. The oils in the bay leaf are really powerful. And so they are really antiseptic. They're really antibacterial. They're very antiviral. And so having that in your soup, you want to put it at the beginning so it starts to soften and to really start releasing all those amazing properties into your soup. Okay. So that's a key thing for flavor, but also so many different things. And when you think, what do they say? Like, chicken soup is really good, like when you're sick and stuff. Like, I bet you that is all with chicken soup with bay leaves in them, right? So it's not the only magic ingredient. Definitely like the bone marrow and like just the broth that you're making with those bones that you're boiling for a really long time. That has a lot of, health benefits as well. But the bay leaves bring a lot to that too. So your vegetables are now boiling. You've added water. I sometimes, if I have an organic, natural, see if I have one here to show you guys. I don't have the box. Like bouillon, like if you're not using any chicken stock in it, you can use your chicken stock in there instead of water if you want. Okay. There's no rules, guys. Like, this is the art. This is the beauty of cooking from scratch and slow food. Okay. Once in a while, if I feel like I want to give it an extra punch, I get these organic, like flavor, broth packs. They often come with no salt, and they're just like a bunch of like dried vegetables. And so make sure that they are natural and organic, because if not, they'll be really full of all kinds of preservatives and sodiums and things that are not good for you. Everything that's artificial. So once in a while I'll do that, especially if it's a huge batch of soup that I'm making, and there's a lot of water. So I need to kind of give it a little kick, an extra little kick. So, but that's optional. So what I do after that is I keep on adding water until like I'm almost at the edge of my pot. And it's not like a huge pot. It's maybe, I don't know, a medium to large pot, not like a huge one. Then I start adding my lentils. And so my lentils, I'll use maybe a cup of lentils in that soup. And I'll also put a piece of lemon. So I'm just pulling it out of my water. Like maybe a chunk this size, just throw it in there. All right. It's going to give you some nice flavor. Salt, pepper. And if you're making my fun salt recipe that we're going to do in just a minute, you can throw some of that in there at the end. So you're just going to let it simmer. And it doesn't take that long because the green lentils don't take that long to cook. Maybe like 25 minutes, a half an hour. You're going to check it. You're going to taste it. You're going to see if you need to add salt. If you need to add salt, that's where you're going to maybe add this special salt that we're going to learn how to make together. And I always keep this on the counter. It's so handy, and it seasons so many yummy things. Like, I use it every day. So that's my soup. And we're going to actually make it later. I'm going to make another video with like the step-by-step instructions with like the visual. So that will be out shortly. So keep an eye out for that. All right. So how to make your aromatic salts. I posted a recipe on my Insta for you guys on YouTube. If you're not following me on Insta, I post things every other, couple of days. I'll post some different recipes, just some photos of things for cooking. And I posted a recipe on how to make some aromatic salts. That is a really fun and healthy way to season things. And so instead of using flavor packets or like those envelopes, or, they have a lot of those shakers that have like, I don't know, I don't buy them. So I don't know, like, like those different like seasonings, those often have things that are not so great for you. And so one thing that I love using is just an aromatic salt, and I make it with some essential oils. These are essential oils that I work with as much in the kitchen as I use also in my office with my patients. For those of you who are new and you don't know what I do, I'm a chiropractor, and that's my laundry that's ready. And so I work with a lot of patients who sometimes have pain and they have discomfort. And so using natural medicine is an amazing way to manage that. And we use certain essential oils, and these are, pure, they're therapeutic. They are now being certified as pharmaceutical. This is a very potent and natural tool that I use with my patients to manage anything from pain to, whether it's like physical, like low back pain or neck pain, or like even headaches and migraines, to helping them with their digestion or their sleep, or maybe managing their anxious feelings, or lowering their stress levels. So there's a lot we can do with this natural medicine. And the beauty of it is we also make essential oils with some of the herbs that we use in the kitchen. And so those all have medicinal properties. And this is not a new thing, right? We know that different herbs and plants have medicinal properties. Our grandmothers, our great grandmothers used all these. They were very familiar with plant medicine. And so now it's coming back. The modern version of that is in aromatherapy, but you have to just be careful that not everything that you find out there is actually like therapeutic. It may smell nice, but it's mostly synthetic, and those have zero therapeutic properties. So the ones that we are going to use in the kitchen today are going to be like the basic herbs that you may have in your herb garden. We're going to do like a herbe de Provence mix, but using the oils from the plants instead of using the dried herbs. Now, when you use the oils, they're like super potent, right? Because you're extracting the oils in the leaves of those herbs. And so there'd be like, 25, 30% more potent than if you had the dried herbs. And so a little goes a long way. Now, my tip is to fill a small jar with some sea salts. And usually I'll fill it up to here, but I just ran out of this particular salt. So we're just going to do it up to here for now. But just a small mason jar, make sure that it is a glass jar. I really suggest avoiding plastic as much as possible. But if you are using, essential oils, you really want to stick to glass as much as possible. So I have my salt, my sea salt, and I just pulled out a few of the more herbal essential oils that I have here. And so I have some rosemary, which is such a great oil to cook with, but also just so yummy. I love rosemary. Some basil. I pulled some marjoram. This is a really great one too that I love making, putting in dips. I make my own homemade dip. We're going to put a little lavender, because in the herbe de Provence, you'll often find lavender, but we'll put just a little bit, right? We don't want it to be super potent. Some thyme. Thyme also, like, oh my God, guys, thyme will kick some serious like germ butt, okay? Thyme is amazing for combating any kind of infections. It's really good. I have some pink pepper and some black pepper. And if you're not familiar with these are pretty much the only ones you can like cook with and eat and ingest safely. And so I'll put a link in, if you're on YouTube, I'll put a link under the video once it's up again to show you guys where you can get those oils. They are oils that I work with, that I sell as well. So there's like, nothing to hide here. It's something that I'm super passionate about, and it's something that you do have to be careful. You can't just go get these at like Body Shop or, at the Walmart or something. It's like, these are not the same quality. These you can actually take internally. Those in the stores, it'll say just for aromatic use, or do not use internally, or do not use topically on your skin. So this is a very different level of essential oils that are safe to use and actually have health benefits, which is really cool. I have some dill as well. All right, so you can't get any easier than this. The recipe that I posted the other day on my Insta had some onion salt in there. This one today is different, okay? But if you want to add some onion salt, because you really love onion salt, go for it. Okay. So I just have my plain, this is like some Sicilian sea salts. It's the fine ones. You know, sea salt is not iodized. But this is basically what I'm using. Okay. And you want to start with maybe just 2 drops of each. So it's super easy. You're going to put 2 drops of each. And if you have lemon, you can put lemon in there as well. And only the lavender, I would say, put 1 drop, because it's you want just like a tiny little hint of it, and you don't have to put it in there at all. I'm just going more by what the Herbe de Provence would typically have. And so there's no rules, right? You can just like make whatever you want. If you want to make something that's like very plain and you want it to be more Asian inspired, you can do ginger and lemongrass, right? Like it's so much fun. You can even do aromatic sugars. And so often we'll do like a fun sugar, again, in a jar, use some brown sugar, and you can put some cardamom and cinnamon and ginger in there. And it gives you kind of like a chai flavored sugar that you can use either to top on muffins, or you can use to put in your coffee if you drink sugar in your coffee or your tea. There's so much you can do, and it's simple, it's natural, there's no artificial anything, and it's like super flavorful. So you put all your oils in your jar and you just shake it. And after that, this, for me, it always stays on the counter. It's always right here on my counter next to the stove. And I will use this stuff. I'll sprinkle it in everything and like that I make. So if I'm making some eggs, I'll put a little bit in my eggs. If I'm making soup, if I'm cooking meat, I'll sprinkle some on the meat, right? It's the easiest thing ever. And all those oils have amazing properties that if you have a bottle of them, you can use them a lot of different ways. And if you're on my YouTube, I've started a library. They're definitely not all there yet, but I've started a library talking about the physical and also emotional benefits of each oil. So that library is building. Okay. This week, I'll be doing one on eucalyptus. That's a big one. A lot of people love eucalyptus and they're familiar with it. So we're going to dive deeper into all the cool things that eucalyptus can do for us. So stay tuned for that video. It should be released in the next couple of days. So that's my aromatic salt. So I think that's like, we've been together for over half an hour, which has been so good. Hey guys. I want to leave you guys. I want to actually share. I'm working on this new project, and it's spring here. I mean, you may be watching the replay, so that's okay. But at the time of recording, it is soon spring in like 3 weeks. And it is the time of year where I love to do a cleansing of just all of my internal organs. And that doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to sound like, oh my God, am I going to be like running to the bathroom like every 3 minutes? But the analogy I love using is just like we have filters in different appliances, or you have a filter in your furnace, or even in your car has different kinds of filters. Once in a while, we have to clean those filters. And when those filters are in our body, they are known as our liver, our intestines, our lungs, our skin, and our kidneys. Those are all filters, okay? And they filter out all kinds of junk and chemicals that we breathe in, that we eat, that we put on our skin, and also the stress that our body may go through sometimes. It creates chemicals, and those chemicals, we often, we need to eliminate them. And when we don't, and when we have it like over, like too much of these stress chemicals, we start having different problems. We start seeing all kinds of health problems. And so if you feel like, oh, well, one, you've never done a cleanse, this could be the right one for you because it's so easy. It's so simple. And we're going to be building up, some fun, easy recipes that you can totally eat. I like to call it like my 30-day no starve detox plan. So it's super easy. It's 30 days. And I'm just setting everything up so that those who want to participate, you will just need to register, and then I'll send you a text message every day with my tip and the ebook that you're going to need to do your shopping for the cleanse. It's nothing complicated. It's super easy, and it's going to help you address things like if you've got some skin issues, if you've got some rashes, maybe you got a weird patch of skin that is always itchy. Maybe you're having headaches. Maybe you're often having some brain fog. You can't sleep properly. Maybe you're having a hard time releasing some weight. Maybe you feel like you don't have like a great digestion happening right now. Maybe for you, it's having a lot of joint pain and you're like, wait a minute, like I'm too young to have some joint pain, which, even if you're older, like joint pain could also be just because of inflammation in your body. And that inflammation can be from what you eat, what you think, the stress that you have. And so this is a really great way to help with reducing that and just cleaning those filters so that everything works properly. So that is something that is coming out in the next couple of days. I'll make sure to add the link for you guys to register if you want to join. A lot of you who are already customers of mine have everything that you need at home to do this. And if you don't, you can easily order it, and I'll tell you exactly what you'll need, and I'll show you where you can get that. Okay. So that's it for today. I'm so happy you guys joined. If you caught us at the end, my name is Dr. Isabel Roy. I'm super happy to share my passion about natural health and slow life, and how to do that in a really easy way, and how you can live a longer, healthier life doing so. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you very shortly. Ciao.